Hey guys, I'm coming at you here with a quick video on a car I just picked up scrolling through Marketplace. A little random. I wasn't planning on getting another car, but this is too good of a deal to pass up. Give you a little info. It's about $1,000. I had to get it towed. I had to rent a trailer and tow it home because the seller said there's something wrong with the fuel pump. Fix that up. 2004 S60 R, obviously. We got the manual transmission. What else can I show you? Interior. I got a Vita scan I can show you here in a second too. Interior's a little dirty. I mean, this is not that bad, to be honest. I've seen much worse. Got the failed heated seat. Got that. That's no big deal. The rear seat. I threw a mouse trap in there because I'm not going to drive it much this winter unless I can get it fixed up, but it's pretty good. Yeah, it's got like 216,000 miles on it. A little dirty back here. These seem to be bad. Got some parking brake stuff, parts and cable and battery cover, whatnot. Pretty standard back here. Obviously, the battery's dead when I picked it up too, so had to swap in a battery. I think it does have hail damage, the seller mentioned. It's kind of hard to see because it's dirty right now. But it's got some dings on it and stuff. But I mean, for $1,000, you cannot complain about that. Let's go around. This window is off its tracks and cracked. Luckily, I've got some glass from a part that I did, so I can replace that. Somehow, I think it's got the original windshield, which is kind of crazy. The headlight module and the Vita scan's not working, so I wasn't able to shut off the headlights. So I'm just like frying this battery I have on there right now. Yeah, stuff everywhere. But all in all, it's it's not too bad. After I can get it fixed up here, I'll show you what the Vita scan revealed. It's a bunch of nothing really. I mean, the all-wheel drive's probably not working, so we got a couple DEM codes. A bunch of these are going to be due to the battery being dead. Last night I cranked it over on a jump start, and it was really bad after I disconnected the jump starter. A bunch of stuff going off. So once I erase these, most of them will go away. I think the seller said the 4C in the back is bad, so some of that's probably that. Siren, CM, all this stuff, air quality sensor, fuel switch, blah, blah. Really the only big stuff I see here is the all-wheel drive not functioning. And then, honestly, the light module, which is this right here, that not working is a little annoying because I like to shut off the headlights when I pull it into scan, so I'm not frying the battery. But yeah, so I started up and was able to get it to drive in reverse and go forward a little bit, and it just died on me and I couldn't get it going and the engine was running super rough. So I was like, okay, that's probably the fuel pump like you mentioned. Then I come do the Vita scan. I don't see anything related to fuel. I did look through all the documents and whatnot, and there was some scans from like 2019 where the fuel trim was off a little bit, so might be something related to that. I haven't done anything to it yet besides pull it in my garage. And I was looking at this intake because this is obviously not the correct intake. Probably try to find a stock intake for that. But pulled this off, and I noticed this intake piping is not connected. So I'm willing to bet that it's going to run great after I hook that back together. So I think I'm going to do that on this video. I'll just stop it, fix it, and start her up, and then we'll call that a video. Just a little introduction to this car, but yeah, $1,000 for a manual S60 R is a steal in my opinion. Obviously, it's a little rough around the edges, but you cannot complain for $1,000. Like, you could pull that transmission out and swap it for sell it as a swap for like $1,500. So yeah, quick little update. It wouldn't crank. Well, it would crank. It wouldn't start when I hooked this back up and put the battery in and whatnot. So it smelled a lot of gas. I think I might have fouled the plugs out. And the previous owner gave me a set of new plugs, so I'm just swapping those in real quick. And I discovered they didn't put this V-band clamp on properly. I haven't loosened it yet. That's what it's like. And I can't tell yet, but something, well, it just twisted around weirdly. So that's got to get tightened too. There was air leak in there. Seems like there might not be a fuel pump issue. I mean, I'm getting pressure at the rail. Fuel's coming in. I can smell it because, like I said, I think I flooded it. And there's just a bunch of air leaks. And I think I flooded it before I even did that because I tried starting it like 5 times in my driveway after it died. So, yeah. So I'm just going to get that off, replace the plugs, put that back together properly, and then it should start. The car had the wrong plugs installed too. So you can see the ones that were in there are shorter, and they're pretty dirty. So I'm thinking replacing it should fix my problem. And then it looks like this one just like wasn't seated properly, and combustion was occurring, like coming through the threads or something. I don't know. This well is like super charred up, so I think they just didn't seat it properly, or maybe the threads are messed up. But we'll find out when I put this one in. And then I'm going to replace 2 coils because the boots came off and they're covered in oil. That one's all rusty. That one came apart, and I got a bunch of spare coils, so I'll just swap those 2. I'll get it all back together and see if she starts. Okay, so I was able to get it started up after replacing the plugs, fixing the air leaks, the OT pipe, and then this down here. And it ran for about, I don't know, 20 seconds. Sounded fine when it ran, but then it sputtered out. So I do think that, like the seller said, the fuel pump is having some issues providing the right amount of fuel. I'm going to scan it again with Vita. It wasn't telling me much about the fuel pump last time I scanned it. There's like no codes, but now that I had it run decent, it kind of sputtered out on its own. Maybe I can get something to pop up in Vita. If not, I know there's a fuel pump test that you can run. In Vita. Let's see. And I'm also seeing this. This is obviously, this is from last time. 100% duty cycle. That is wrong. But I don't know if that's just what it says when the car's not running, or if you have it in position 2 without it running. So if that's the correct value, then yeah, this fuel pump shot. Pressure seems fine though from what I've checked. So I'm not 100% sure. I'm going to scan it again and then see if I can run that fuel pump test. Seems to be running now and idling. I think I'll have to look into this. It seems like it's maybe off a tooth or 2 on the timing belt. Fuel pump duty cycle looks good. Pressure looks good. This seems okay, I think. I'm not sure. Oh, I see. Adaption. I don't know what the difference between adaption and deviation angle is. Let's remove this. But it ran a little rough and then started running good. That's probably from what it expects versus what it's actually measuring, maybe. Camshaft shifting angle. I'm not sure what these mean. But I do know it's about 15 degrees per tooth, so this makes me think that these are off and it's adapting it by that much, and that's why I was running rough, because I had to figure out what to adapt it by. I'll have to look into that. I'll give it a little rev here and see if it, now that it's adapted, it's running good. I don't know. It's running a little rough, but I think it might just be the timing's off. Let's see if it can start up easy now. I prime up. Seems like it knows how to start and go to idle right away. So I was looking through this stack of papers, and I think I saw in here, let's see if I can find it on video real quick. Well, what I'm looking for is I saw on here that someone replaced the tensioner for the timing belt. It must not have been in this pile. I haven't checked the timing. Well, I guess here we can see. From what he marked, it's pretty close to where it would be. The marks are correct, but he still could be off a tooth. I've done the timing a couple times on these cars. It's not always super obvious to tell what's what. Timing belt PCV fit system. No. Okay. Yeah, this is what I was looking at. Intercooler piping, I don't know. There was nothing about the intercooler piping that I saw that was like, this needs to be fixed, besides the loose stuff. Replace the timing belt tensioner. They got that in there. Replace the O2 sensor. They got that in there. Parts. So my guess is back in, what was it? November 2022, almost a year ago now. The guy put the timing belt on wrong. It adapted, ran fine enough for them to not notice after fixing it, like it just adapted now. And then someone had something else done to it, or it started running weird, like there was wrong plugs in it. And they put it back together. They didn't put this on right. They didn't put that on right. So then it started running rough because of that. And then it was impossible to diagnose the issue because it had adapted to the timing belt being off a tooth, and now there's loose pipes, so we can't even measure the air going in. So I'm going to guess that's what it is. I'm going to take that off. I'll get into it, dig into it, and see if I can just take the belt off without even trying to check if they did it right, retime it all, and then I'll let it run again and check that adaptation angle. But if I can recall correctly, I'm going to do some research. That's about one tooth off on each of them. And I think you start having like interference piston on valve problems at 2 teeth, so I think we're good as far as mechanical stuff goes. We just gotta get that reset. Okay, so I got the timing belt off here to fix the timing. It's like impossible to show you this, but I just popped the belt off now. Let's see if I get some light down there, if it's visible or not. Can't really shine the light and zoom in. Okay, there we go. Okay, you can see the marks just barely in there. If you've worked on these before, you'll know what I'm talking about. You can see it's lined up down there. Then I pop the tensioner off, and then we've got the mark right there. Supposed to line up with the mark in this lid right here. So that is supposed to be lined up with that, about right there. So it was off by about 1.5 tooth. I just corrected it. Same thing with the back one. I'll have to do that. Try to do this without tearing the whole car apart. Like taking this off. The bushings are missing in this or something weird, so I'm gonna have to take that off and fix it anyways. But I didn't want to drain the coolant or anything. The water pump looks new. I'm not gonna mess with any of that. Tensioner's new. So I'll line that one up and then get the belt back on and then make sure I get it tensioned properly. And then we'll start her up and see what happens. All right, got the time belt back on and retimed properly like I showed you. Tensioner's looking pretty good. What else? It's idling right now. Started right back up. Come check the camshaft adaptions. We're sitting at 2% and 0.27%, and the spec is plus or minus 7. So looks like we're running good. We got the fuel pump duty cycle 40%. I'll shut it off here and run a quick scan to relog in. But yeah, she's idling. Looks like we might have popped the check engine light. But yeah, we'll see what the scan reveals to us here. Put it into position 2. Vehicle profile, America, read. Okay, let's see what we got here. Well, let's figure out why it's throwing this now. Signal too low on the camshaft position inlet. Could just be dirty. It's happened to me before. I've had to take them off and clean them. But most of this other stuff we knew about. We're getting this code for both of them now, which is interesting considering we're actually in time. When we were out of time before, so maybe it thinks it's out of time now because it was out of time before. I don't know. Maybe it jumped again. I'll crank it over by hand maybe here and double check that it still lines up. Then we could probably reset these and call it good. So yeah, it's running good now though. So I ran it again, erased it, checked the timing, everything's good. Code didn't come back, so I think it was just a little thrown off from originally being so off. And yeah, so it looks like I need fuel hatch switch, which is part of the LSM. So that is, where is it? I don't know where I put it, but that's the thing that goes right there. I need one of those. Air quality sensor, that happens on all of them. Doesn't really matter that much. Mirror motor, don't care. Brakes, I'll maybe chase that down. That doesn't matter right now. And this intermittent sum one, I'm just gonna ignore that for now. See if when I start driving it, it's a problem. Right now I don't have insurance on the car, so I'm not gonna drive it. I didn't know when I was gonna fix it up, but I think I'll just clean it up here, put it back together, drop it down, and take it in and out of my driveway a little bit. See if everything's sorted out on it. I think I do have to just adjust the tensioner a little bit now. I'll let it cool back down and then make sure I get it in the right range when it's a normal temperature outside, because it's a little hard to adjust these when you don't know. I think middle is like 68 degrees outside, up is like 110, and then all the way back is like -5 or something like that. So I'll probably have to adjust that. But then I'll clean it all up, get some of this oil off the top here, and sort it out and see how she drives on the road. Get her cleaned up, get all the leaves off her and all that stuff, and yeah, have a good time with it. So thanks for watching. Yeah, it's the new to me S60 R. Hopefully we have her for a while. That's my S60 R 07 that I've shown on this channel before. I got that one stored for winter, not because I don't drive it in the winter, but because the throwout bearing went bad on the transmission, so I got to pull that out. $50 part, you know, won't even shift into gear or anything. So I just covered it up so I don't get it all dirty in the garage or whatnot. And I guess while we're here, I'll do a little update. I haven't made the video yet, but let's see. I got this guy running. I pulled the engine out, redid the valve, shimmed it, basically replaced every piece of rubber, steering rack, all the front components, brake pads, rotors, all that stuff. waiting on the mail to get some clips for these trim pieces. I just had the windshield replaced too. I've got the airbag recall scheduled for December. I got about 800 miles on it after putting the engine back in. So I recorded everything. I got like 20 hours of footage of me working on the engine and stuff, but I'm terrible at editing. So you're gonna get this little one-shot video of me pumping this out before I have any time to edit that and throw it up on the channel. I'll probably do it in little bits. But yeah, hopefully you can see in this video. In the video I like revealed this car in, it looked really silver and not flash green. But yeah, this one's kind of acting like a daily driver for me now. In between this and my my XC70, I have all the stuff for an 05 center console swap, but I need to get an armrest and Atacama before I can do that. So yeah, that's that update. This car's leaking a little bit of oil, so I just parked it over the dirt there, but she's running good. Like 206,000 miles on that one now. And then we got the XC90 Project over here ready for winter storage. Still need to get a good welder and some pipes to build a frame in before I chop this thing up, but I'm thinking I might have some time next summer to do that. And I did have a mouse in here. That's why I started putting traps everywhere. So we're getting a little water in here. But, oh my. Yeah, the mouse is having a feast. You can see he started eating up the floor there. I literally backed into this spot, turned around and looked, and the mouse popped out of that hole right there and looked at me. So I was like, all right, we got to get some traps before he makes a feast out of this wiring. I mean, hopefully he didn't. It ran fine last time I started it up, so should be good. But yeah, this is going to be the truck project. If you didn't catch my videos on that, I pulled the frame back out. This was overlapped to about right here, so that's pretty good for getting it chopped up. Just going to be parked on the side of my house here for the winter.